Earlier today, prosecutors dropped the fetal homicide charge against a Wolfe County woman. Melinda Spencer was arrested last week after police say she aborted her pregnancy. Prosecutors cited a state statute that does not allow pregnant women to be charged with fetal homicide.
WKYT's Madison Carmouche talked to another Commonwealth's attorney and to Lexington attorneys about the intention behind a fetal homicide charge.
I am not aware of any law in Kentucky that would criminalize the acts of a pregnant woman to terminate her pregnancy.
Kenton County Commonwealth's attorney Rob Sanders is not connected to the Wolfe County indictments against 35-year-old Melinda Spencer, but he says the initial fetal homicide charge did not apply because according to Kentucky law, Spencer is exempt as the woman who was pregnant, and so are medical providers.
If the legislature wants women that terminate their pregnancies to be prosecuted, they need to amend the law.
This is why Wolfe County Commonwealth's attorney Miranda King dismissed the fetal homicide indictment against Spencer. She says she is a pro-life prosecutor, but is sworn to defend Kentucky state law.
Say the mother of the child was shot and then happened to lose her child in that process. But she did not die. I think that's what this was really trying to target.
Lexington attorney Sarah Langer says the fetal homicide charge is in place to make sure if someone kills a pregnant woman's child, they can be charged for that death.
If the people of the Commonwealth want this to be prosecuted, then call your legislator. Elect people that align with your values and get people in office that will create a law to prosecute this.
Shelby Adams is a trial attorney in Lexington. She says because there is no law to prosecute abortions, Kentuckians should not fault the Commonwealth's attorney for her decision to dismiss the fetal homicide indictment.
I think the Commonwealth attorney down there, what she said was, again, like I will enforce the law when it's applicable, but it's not here. And I really respect the decision she made to dismiss something that is so politicized and not to create a witch hunt out of it.
Commonwealth's attorney King says the indictments against Spencer on charges of concealing the birth of an infant, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence still stand. Madison Carmouche, WKYT.